This is Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host, welcoming you to another episode of a popular weekly trivia program here on Live Life Well TV that we call True or False. So, are you ready for more fun true or false trivia? Well, we are, so stay tuned. Before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge two websites, momjunction.com and opinionstage.com. And with that said, let's begin. So all you got to do, if this is the first time you're seeing an episode of this weekly show, is sit back, relax, and have fun. And guess if the following trivia happens to be true or false. Here's the first one. True or false, elephants take 9 months to gestate babies. True or false, elephants take 9 months to gestate babies. What do you think, true or false? And you know what? We don't expect that you have the exact answers to all these questions. The fun lies in guessing. So if you don't know if that's true or false, what do you guess? Just take a guess. True or false? And if you happen to have guessed false, well, you know what? You're right. It is false. Why? Because elephants take an astounding 22 months to gestate babies and not 9. Next up is this. True or false? The USA shares borders with 3 countries. Think about this carefully. Is that true or false? The USA shares borders with 3 countries? Well, if you're very astute and you really thought about it, you will know that that answer happens to be false. Why? Because the USA shares borders with 2 countries, and if you think that's true, what are they? They happen to be, of course, Canada and Mexico. Next up, we have this. True or false, the United Kingdom comprises 3 countries. True or false, the United Kingdom is made up of 3 countries. False, because the United Kingdom is made up of how many countries? It ain't 3, it happens to be 4. And if that's so, which it is, what 4 countries make up the UK? Can you tell me? And if you didn't get all 4, here they are. England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. Have you been to any of those? They are all amazing countries. Next, true or false goes like this. The Amazon River has native dolphins. True or false, the Amazon River has native dolphins. You know what? I was surprised about this one. The answer happens to be true. How in the world is that possible? Well, the Amazon River dolphin, also known as the pink river dolphin, or boto, B-O-T-O, lives only in fresh water. It is found throughout much of the Amazon and Orinoco River basins in Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Peru, and Venezuela. Many of you know that I used to be a cruise director for many years all around the world, and one year I got to do 2 voyages. One up the Amazon from Rio de Janeiro all the way to Manaus at the end of the Amazon River deep in Brazil, and then the other cruise was going back out, back to Rio. And this was at the time of Halley's Comet. Do you remember when Halley's Comet happened? Well, a really great place to see Halley's Comet was from the deck of a cruise ship going up the Amazon because there were no city lights to obstruct the view of you standing on an open deck on this cruise ship at night and looking up at the incredible stuff that was going on concerning Halley's Comet. The Amazon River is an amazing river, and I wouldn't think it would be deep enough or have the makeup enough to contain dolphins, but it really does. And the Amazon River, I found out, happens to be much deeper than one thinks. Not because I swam in it, but because we had a number of scientists and oceanographers, some from the Jacques Cousteau Society, on board those cruises. And I learned so much about that area of the world. It's incredible if you ever want to study it or maybe visit it. Next, true or false is this. True or false, bats are blind. What do you think about that? True or false, bats are blind. That happens to be false. Here's why. Well, bats just aren't blind. Bats have very small eyes with very sensitive vision, which helps them see in conditions we might consider pitch black. They don't have the sharp and colorful wisdom that we have, but come to think of it, they don't need the vision that we have. So there you go. True or false? Horses can sleep while standing. True or false? Horses can sleep while standing. That's true. That is true. Come to think of it, I've known a couple of people like that too, but we won't go into this here. True or false? Female reindeers do not have antlers. Female reindeers, true or false, do not have antlers. What do you think about that? That happens to be false, and here's why. The main purpose of antlers is to attract female deer for mating. During mating season, when their antlers are growing, the male deer displays his antlers to a female deer and uses them to become the dominant male. True or false? The Andes are the longest continental mountain range in the world. True or false? The Andes happen to be the longest continental mountain range in the world. True or false? That happens to be true. The Andes, of course, in South America, are the world's longest continental range of mountains. Get this, they are an astounding 4,700 miles in length. They happen to span no less than 7 countries and include some of the highest mountains on Earth. Over 50 of the Andes peaks happen to reach over 20,000 feet high. Wow, that's all I have to say about that. That's incredible. True or false? Crocodiles shed tears when they eat food. True or false? Crocodiles shed tears when they eat food. What do you think? Guess. That happens to be true. The cause of tears in crocodiles mostly remains unclear, but apparently what we do know is that they tend to hiss a lot while they eat, so something to do with the sinuses might be activating their tear glands. But they also shed tears just from being on land for a while, whether or not they happen to be eating. That's right. Isn't there something about crocodile tears? It's in the lyric of a song or a poem, no? I'll have to research that. Stay tuned. Next up for your true or false consideration is this. True or false? Europe is the most populous continent in the world. Europe is the most populous continent in the world. True or false? Well, you know what? If you happen to say false, you are correct, and that's true. Asia happens to be the most populous continent in the world. True or false? Russia has no less than 11 time zones. True or false? Russia has no less than 11 time zones? True. Wow. That's a lot to keep up with. True or false? Botany is the scientific study of plants. True or false? Botany is the scientific study of plants. That, as you probably can well surmise, happens to be true. But see if you can figure this next one out. True or false? Mangrove trees can be found in marshy areas. True or false? Mangrove trees can be found in marshy areas. That happens to be true. Mangrove trees are most found straddling the equator between 25 degrees north and south latitude. About 40% of the world's mangroves are found in Asia, with 21% in Africa, 15% in the North and Central America, and 12% in Australia and the islands of Oceania, and 11% can be found in South America. True or false? Elephants are blessed with a forever memory. True or false? Elephants are blessed with a forever memory. True. I wish I was. True or false? There are no penguins in Africa. True or false? There are no penguins in Africa. That happens to be false. The African penguin is only found on the southwestern coast of Africa, living in colonies on no less than 24 islands between Namibia and Algoa Bay near Port Elizabeth, South Africa. It is the only penguin species that breeds in Africa. Now, aren't you glad you tuned into this episode? Because where else would you be able to glean these amazing, profound bits of information? Ah, yes, only here on Live Life Well TV, folks. True or false? Chlorophyll is the cause of green color in plants. True or false? Chlorophyll is the color of green in plants. Of course, as you probably guessed, that happens to be true. Well, if you're doing so well, how about this? True or false? An endangered species is at risk of extinction. In general, true or false, an endangered species is at risk of extinction. This is true, of course. True or false? Peanuts are not nuts. What do you think? True or false? Peanuts are not nuts. That happens to be true. And don't think I'm nuts for sharing this information for you, because peanuts are actually legumes like lentils and peas. True or false? People may sneeze or cough while sleeping deeply. True or false? People may sneeze or cough while sneezing deeply. False. You cannot cough or sneeze in deep or REM sleep. However, you can do so in light sleep. In order to cough or sneeze, your body must enter a state of wakefulness, even if it's so brief you don't remember it. Next up is this, and we've got only two more before we close. I know, I know it's always tough to say goodbye. It's always a terribly sad thing when these episodes come to a conclusion, but the bright light at the end of the tunnel, the silver lining, the icing on the proverbial cake is that we'll be back next week with another episode. Or if this happens to be the first of just maybe a smattering of true or false episodes that you have seen on Live Life Well TV, well, my goodness, there are probably 59 episodes more for you to take a look at. This show and so many others on this channel, that we put them on here just for you and you alone. Two more. Here we go with the second to last one. True or false? The Mona Lisa was stolen once from the Louvre. True or false? The Mona Lisa was stolen once from the Louvre. And you probably have guessed, if you don't already know, that happens to be true. It was stolen by a guy by the name of Vincenzo Perugia, who had worked at the museum itself. The masterpiece, thank God, was recovered 2 years later. Don't mess with Mona Lisa. She will read you the riot act and make life absolutely unbearable for you until you return her to her proper home. Last one goes like this, true or false? The term inflation refers to a general fall in the prices of most products and services. True or false, the term inflation refers to a general fall in the prices of most products and services. That happens to be false, and here's why. Inflation is a general rise in price levels in a certain economy that leads to a decrease in the value of its local currency. And with that said and done, I will take my honorable leave of you. And thank you so much for joining me for this episode of True or False. Do tune in again and check more episodes of True or False or many of the other shows. We have 5 different ones that we upload weekly here on Live Life Well TV. Again, just for you. So don't miss out if you know what's good for you. With that said, thanks again, everybody. God bless. We'll see you soon. This has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host. Bye-bye.